Hey everybody, it's Will. Welcome to another episode of Vinyl Appreciation Society House Calls. We're at Lincoln's apartment yet again. Thank you for having us. And today we have something very special, I think, for both of us.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. We have Aphrodite's Child, 666. Let me just pull this out of here so I don't get any glare or anything off of it. But so the story behind this copy of this record is that Lincoln gave it to me for Christmas last year.
That's right, it was a Christmas present.
It was a Christmas present. Yeah. And I had honestly never heard of this album. I should just admit my ignorance.
Yeah, so gosh, I don't know where to start with it.
We can start with 666.
So we can. I mean, it's got this wonderful I don't know if you can see this on camera because it's yellow type on a red background, but it says, "Anyone who has intelligence may interpret the number of the beast. It is a man's number. The number is 666. That's the
yeah.
And then below it says, "The Apocalypse of John 13:18, composed by Vangelis." Do you know how to say his last name?
I don't speak much Greek. Papathanasiou? Is that how you would say it?
Let's go with that. Lyrics by Kostas Ferris. So this is Vangelis. Okay, so
of Blade Runner fame?
Of Blade Runner fame, yeah. Aphrodite's Child, I don't think ever achieved great notoriety as a band. They were a psychedelic rock band in the 1960s.
Are they from Athens?
They're from Greece. I don't know.
So this came out in 1970, so like really early, like
yeah, they had
epic, psych prog, whatever you would call this.
Yeah, they had a couple albums, at least one before this, but this is on another level.
So when did you first hear this? How did you come upon this album?
I think this one.
The smell of it. You love the smell of like old records.
Really smell it?
It smells like someone's like old. It smells like an old like.
It's
like a library or something.
It's like the smell of old books. Yeah, but it's not exactly
the same. Yeah.
So you got that. Yeah. So the band never went on to.
This was their last album, right?
This was their last album. This, it was a massive concept project, and this was the album that broke the band. Not that like broke them into stardom, that broke them up.
And was this like so I don't know a ton about the history of Pink Floyd in terms of like when they were putting stuff out, but is this pre like epic Pink Floyd concept albums?
Yeah, pretty much. It's before all the big ones.
And when did Tommy come out?
At this point, when did Tommy come out?
Was that 68?
Oh, no,
or was
I
it
think
in the
it was
70s?
later. I think that was early 70s.
Okay. Was it after Who's Next or not?
That I don't know.
Because I thought Who's Next was like 71. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know about the evolution of concept albums.
As far as concept albums
Do we have a researcher?
Google says 1969.
For what?
For Tommy the Who.
Oh, so Tommy was 1969, and that.
But it could. I mean, this was only the next year, so maybe they were recording this while.
That's entirely possible.
Yeah.
I mean, that's decisively a concept album. I don't think by any means this is the first concept album.
Yeah. Do you know what is the first? I would have no idea.
No, I don't. I mean, I feel like it's a pretty.
Are operas concept albums?
Right, exactly. It's hard to say like what makes a concept album. But this is certainly grander and stranger in scope than most.
So can you tell us the narrative of the album?
Sure. Yeah. As far as I understand it. You don't quite get this by listening to it, though once you hear it, or once you know the narrative, I think listening to it makes sense in that context. So the narrative is there is a play, kind of a circus type show going on, and it's an apocalypse play. It's a play about the apocalypse, and while the play is going on in a big circus tent under the big top.
Is that what this picture is? Oh
No,
that's something entirely different.
Yeah, I don't know. There's a story about that picture too. Okay. We'll come back to that. So while this play is going on about the apocalypse, outside of the play, the apocalypse starts happening. And
do they merge?
And then they merge.
Okay.
And I think they
so
merge.
it's a play within
around...
a play. It's like Midsummer Night's Dream.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Except it's the apocalypse.
Right. Except it's the apocalypse. Which it's a nice little twist. That. Musically, it's one of the stranger.
Nuts.
Yeah, it's one of the stranger things you'll ever.
So I have to say that my son, who is 11 months old as we're filming this, by the way, and not a sophisticated music fan, but he loves this album, and I think he loves it because have we talked about this?
Yeah. You told me.
I think he loves it because it's so weird. Like he just keeps
it's
looking at the
dynamic.
record player, like, what is that? What is it? And like you can hear human voices in here. There's that weird like sex ritual song.
Yeah, that's the one that it doesn't actually. The song title is just an infinity sign.
Yeah, and it's like
it doesn't.
It sounds like an occult sex ritual is happening on the record, and then there's it's also shredding and like
that. Yeah, that one's very strange because it's like an occult sex ritual, but it's also like. It's turning on its head, some biblical shit. It's all I am to come. No, I was, I am to come. It's just that kind of mantra.
Like over and over again, right? Yeah.
To a frenzy.
But like in an orgasmic, yeah. There's the shredding on here.
Yeah,
when it really kicks up is nuts.
Yeah, it is, and there's some of the tracks on here. It's I think it falls under the umbrella of psychedelic rock.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
What's that? The single that everyone talks about on here?
Oh sure, Babylon.
Every time I talk to someone about this album name, is it the Four Horsemen? Was that a single?
I'm not sure.
Well,
I think Babylon
single,
there's a few songs on here that.
Yeah, Babylon is the second song, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that song's great. Yeah.
Yeah, a few of them have a little more like pop sensibility.
Like more obvious, melodies and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
We should bust some of these out.
But then some of it they're using.
Do you want to have?
Sure. Should I pull out the?
If you feel like it.
They're using traditional Greek instrumentation. Does it say on here?
This is Mercury Records. Do you know when this pressing is from?
I don't actually. I doubt it's original.
I think so. I read somewhere that the original ones have that. You know that Vertigo label that's on the Black Sabbath records. This.
Oh yeah.
That's the center label on the original pressings.
Oh.
Which is also on like the old Black Sabbath albums.
Huh.
Did you get this online or did you get it at a record store?
This one I got online. Yeah, it's not one that you often find.
Old... Yeah, I mean, like I said, I'd never heard of this before. So, how did you remember the kind of your history of like when did you first hear this in your psychedelic phase, like in college with your art soirees? Or?
I'm trying to remember how I first found this one. I think this one was a product of just. I guess it's not really the early days of the internet anymore, but it's like sort of the culture of music blogs and sort of like esoterica, people digging,
like really digging into
and finding just truly bizarre stuff and sharing it and giving it.
Giving it another day in the sun kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly. So I found a lot of stuff through that, but yeah, most of it falls far short of this. This is
Epic Masterpiece. And there's a 20-minute song? Is that the last song?
It's the second to last song.
Is it an entire side?
It's
no,
almost, yeah. All the seats were occupied. It's sort of like,
is it in movements?
what would you call, kind of, it's sort of like the opposite of an overture.
Okay.
Where, you know, an overture usually has like little pieces of every song that is to come. And this sort of has snippets, samples, and little bits from other songs.
It's like the grand conclusion or something?
Right, yeah, it's kind of a finale.
Kind of thing?
Yeah,
okay, yeah.
And I think this is the point in the narrative where
the apocalypse is
the apocalypse and the apocalypse play are fully merging.
It very much has like this. The album has this feeling of. I almost think of it as like these art films from the '60s, like like Nick Rogue. Do you know Nick Rogue? I guess that was kind of in the '70s too. Like he made this movie called Performance with Mick Jagger in it. It's like super fucking weird, and will blow up. Obviously, Antonioni, you know that movie, and like this kind of this like merging of like the world of pop through. I guess like in movies you would compare it to like mainstream cinema versus like pure abstract art cinema.
Yeah. And
in music, like this kind of completely gonzo like art sensibility and like just kind of songwriting coming together. There's a really interesting time, I think, in general, and because you get a lot of stuff from that era that is, I think, total fucking nonsense.
Yeah.
But then you get the stuff like this that's just fucking amazing.
Yeah, and it's, you know, does everything on here work? Does it fit together perfectly? Does it achieve what it sets out to? I don't know.
I mean, I honestly, I find that the older I get, the more I'm more interested in listening to stuff that is interesting and has its own voice than stuff that you could easily say is like coherent and like well put together.
Oh, absolutely.
And like, so this to me is far more appealing than like a quote unquote perfect album where it's like 10 songs and no filler and like.
Sure, yeah.
It's just so nuts. It's like, what are they thinking? Like, I just love it.
Well, yeah, and you know, another thing about it, while there was a lot of, you know, late 60s, early 70s, this is a time of, you know, like you're saying, in cinema, in music, and, you know, kind of across the arts, this is a time of kind of bold experimentation. But, you know, I feel like, while that conceptually might be the case, a lot of the art falls short. A lot of the art, like, it's not that, it's, you see it or you hear it, it's like, well, that's not that exciting. That's like, that's, you know, one novel idea just kind of...
For 3 hours.
Exactly.
Or like, I've heard records where I read a description and I was like, this is going to be so awesome. I listened to it, it's basically just blues rock.
Right, yeah.
I'm like, what? This isn't like far out.
No,
like,
and that's the thing with this is an incredibly ambitious album.
Really is, yeah. And it's the other thing that's interesting about it too is that if I heard it without knowing anything about this band, I don't know if I'd be able to place it at all. In terms of like, I wouldn't know that they were Greek for sure, but I also wouldn't assume they were English or American. Like, I would have no idea.
But it's also
like, where it came from. Other
than like analyzing the recording quality to some degree, I would have no idea what it was from.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
It's
just a very unique piece of, well, maybe it's from the year 666.
Maybe.
It came to us from the past through the filter of time. So we'll include links for you to go and listen to this album and to buy this album if you want to buy it. I'm very happy that you brought this album into my life.
Thank you.
And the child loves it too.
Thanks for bringing it to share.
Do you have a copy of this record?
I don't actually own it on
So
vinyl.
I have it and you don't. Look, I'm such a greedy hog. I coming here, showing off my beautiful things that you can't have.
No, I could.
Well, maybe for your birthday next year or Christmas, I know what I can get you.
Till next time, folks.
Thank you for joining us.